Well, hello, and welcome back to my garden here in Northeast Oklahoma. I'm Chip Jones, and as you can see, I'm already in project mode today. I've been doing some lime washing on an urn that I've had here for quite a while, and the reason I'm doing it today is we have been in the middle of such a rainy period that I haven't been able to plant anything, and this has certainly been something that's been on the to-do list for quite a while. So I thought, why not get out, do some of those things? I've been doing some weeding a little bit earlier. But again, what I've been working on today is have this concrete urn that I got it out at the nursery, and it was in a terracotta finish. And I really don't use a lot of terracotta around my house. I use a real dark bronze. And so what I decided to do is just do a natural lime wash on this urn. And what it's going to do, it's going to age in time. A lot of that lime wash is going to actually fade a little bit, and it'll look a little more antique-y. Of course, this is a new urn. It's not an antique, so it's nothing that special. So I'm not messing it up or anything. But as you can see, the colors from the house, we use this white with a dark chocolate brown. And what I'm doing is really just playing up those same colors. This is actually the same treatment that we used on the brick and the stone here at the house at the farm. And it's worn really, really well. I've been very happy with it because so many paints can be a little tricky when you're putting on top of brick. So you always want to make sure whatever you're going to paint brick with is acceptable. Again, this is a lime wash. I use the Romabio brand that you can find at a lot of big box stores. You can actually order it from them. I believe the company's based in Atlanta, and I actually ordered it from them, shipped it direct to me. Once I got my color decided, got it sent here, and it's been so easy to work with. Again, I've used it on the house, and I've used it on a few more projects, but I really think that it's going to play off of this urn really well. Of course, this urn has a neat Roman motif, and here we are out in the Oklahoma prairie, which isn't the most formal setting, but I thought it really would be a neat area to be maybe a little more formal, a little more classic, and by using plants that play off that same motif, I think it's really going to pull it together. If you'll just look around here on the base, a couple years ago, after the urn was put in, I planted this Acanthus mollis, which is actually bear's breeches. And if you look at it, what is really unique about it is this beautiful foliage. You know, it makes beautiful tall blooms. They actually remind me of a foxglove. Get about 4 to 6 feet tall as the plant matures. But what I love is this beautiful Acanthus foliage. If you know, acanthus comes from the Greek Isles and was a plant that was used on a lot of the Greco-Roman buildings. A lot of the columns up at the top had that neat leaf motif. This is the leaf that it was styled after. Again, it's the Acanthus mollis. So this plant has been around and been known to man for a very long time. And I think it'll be a great plant to play off of this motif here in this new garden. And speaking of new garden, let me show you where we are. So here we are at the entrance to what is going to be a project that we're going to be working on this year. I don't really know what to call it right now. Doesn't have a proper name, but it's just off of the parking court here on the front of the house. And what I decided to do is I wanted to have a garden here at the front that would attach to all the other gardens as we go around the house. This was one of the last areas that really didn't have a path that you could connect to the other gardens as you walked around. Of course, I punctuated it here in the front with these concrete obelisks. So you notice this finish. This finish is more of a chocolate brown. This is the finish that I like to use on custom concrete if I'm going to have it colored instead of the terracotta. And this matches many of the other urns and statues from around the property. So these will be the entrance punctuation points, so to speak, as you go through. I've already planted some green velvet boxwood, and then we're going to be putting this Hackett stone in as flagstone. I went ahead and put a piece out so you can see it's a great brownish color. This comes from the state line between Oklahoma and Arkansas. We actually go to the quarry and pick it out, but it's going to be beautiful dark brown Hackett stone that was going to kind of fill in this walkway. So come along with me. I'm actually just going to talk you through a few of the areas that we're going to be adding plants. So as you can tell, I've already started planting a few plants because I'm always in the mood to plant. I've got this area which is underneath this beautiful brandywine maple. This maple was actually one of the trees that was on the property. And then we added in this blue Atlas cedar. We had 2 down at the entrance gate, and one of them died. And I was like, what are we going to do with this one? Because I don't want to throw it away. So we actually transported it up here when we put the Alaskan cedars in down at the gate. But what we're going to be doing this season is I'll be adding the flagstone, and I'll actually be coming through and again, creating this path. And as I come around, the challenge with this garden is it's part sun and part shade. So what I'm going to have to do is actually monitor the sun to see how long some of these plants are going to remain in the sun. I have some limelight prime, which I planted here. I do have this one strip that's between the screen veranda and this maple tree, which is going to get a lot of hot west afternoon sun. Again, one little strip down through here while the other part stays shaded. So it's going to be a little tricky. So it'll be interesting to pick out the perfect plants to go in this area, but that's going to be one of the fun challenges. I'll definitely be bringing you back so that you see what I decided to put in, but I think probably the next step will be putting in the flagstone. We'll come back after that, and then we'll begin to shape the garden around that flagstone to decide just how much planting area I want to include. So this was really the first half of this video. Again, we just had so much rain that I just haven't had time to do a lot. So what I want to do now is just step over and just show you a few of the flowers that are really coming to life because of all of this rain. So this has been a great spring for the peonies, I guess because of all of this rain. But here is Mary's peony that Mary gifted us. I want you to look at just how beautiful the color is on this peony. It is just glowing. I mean, just look at that. I guess a really strong magenta in there, and it is just layer upon layer upon layer of petals. I cannot wait till this opens, and you can see as I'm touching it, if you look really close, you can see all the ants are coming out and jumping on my hands. I'm gonna tell you, it has just been so beautiful. For a couple of years, this peony only really had 1 or 2 blooms, but this year it's just loaded. I mean, just look at all the buds. Now I want to step over and show you a few bearded iris because they are absolutely loving the rain as well. And almost every garden here at the farm has beautiful bearded iris. And just look at this beautiful pale peach variety. Actually has just a little hint of a lavender right at the base. The iris have just been fighting the rain so much they've gotten a little heavy. Several of the stems have broken off, but I mean, just having that fragrance of spring, the iris certainly bring back a lot of memories for me. And this variety is just really putting on a show. As you can see, it's just filled with all kinds of buds. So we're going to have at least a couple more weeks of beautiful blooms from these bearded iris. And then coming on over, I want to show you the mock orange that has finally taken off. And just look at this beauty. This is the mock orange, the Philadelphus virginalis. This is a plant that I have peppered in several gardens around the house. It is a plant that I adore. Beautiful white blooms, of course, only blooming in the spring, but boy, what a show it makes when it actually comes out. Slight, maybe sweet type of fragrance. I think once they start to get a little more sun, a little more heat, it'll intensify that fragrance again. We've just coming out of a rain shower again this morning. So I think once they've had a little bit more time to wake up, I'm sure that fragrance is going to come on through. But it is just a plant that if you have a larger garden and larger area that you're looking for some type of different shrub, especially one that blooms, and of course blooms one time of year, you got to remember that. Certainly look into a mock orange. Again, this is my favorite, the Philadelphus virginalis. There's a couple more plants that are in bloom up at the butterfly garden. So I want to take you back up around the house and we'll finish out the tour up there. So come along. as you can see, the roses are really starting to come to life. We have the peach drift, we have the orange glow knockout rose, which is down front. I have the mystery rose, which I can't remember, but it's so pretty I can't take it out. And then if you look on up here, the Eden rose up on this arbor is really starting to take off, and it's really growing tall this year. I hope that it really gets on up to the top. But as you can see, the buds are really small, but it won't be long before they'll start to get sun and they'll really open up. So with this being on the back side and getting a little bit more shade during this time of year, let me take you up front and actually show you what the Eden looks like just on the other side of the house. So follow me. Now this is what an Eden rose should look like. Just look at the blooms, how beautiful they are. This Eden has been here a couple years and I have never seen it look so beautiful. Again, it must be all of the rain, and it's certainly on the south side of the house, it's getting more warmth and sun when the sun has actually been out. And it is just loaded with all types of buds. You know, growing roses in Oklahoma is a little bit of a challenge because of the severe winds and severe temperatures. So seeing one perform this well has made me so incredibly happy. And I believe that all of the roses have really benefited from all of this rain. If you will, just look at this beautiful Princess Charlene de Monaco. It's this beautiful cabbage rose, this pale, kind of apricot pink color, and it is performing so well. All the buds coming up. I'm going to have blooms for several weeks. And then if you look on over here, let me show you these peach drift roses as well. They have been putting on a show. I can't imagine not having drift roses in the garden because they just absolutely perform so well. And I just love the way they play off of this color of this wine and roses Weigelia here in the front of the house. It adds that little bit of a color change with all of the green foliage, but having the pink and peachy blooms on both plants really plays off well together. And I think it absolutely works, and it's looking so wonderful. I just love the combination here as well. And of course, with this Blue Bayou salvia, which is down front, it's still carrying some color. Of course, it bloomed quite a bit early, but the bees are still just jumping all over this salvia, getting the pollen. Again, this is just, I think, a mainstay that everyone should have in their garden. And then one last thing before we go, my favorite coral charm peonies. Just look down here. Of course, these are only 1 year old, so the stems aren't very strong, but look at those. They're absolutely beautiful. I know I say absolutely beautiful a lot, but these are so beautiful. They are so pretty, and they have just performed so well this year. Lost a couple in the rain, but again, enough to enjoy for this season. And then hopefully by next year, it'll get even bigger, have even stronger branches, and will be much more floriferous as well. Well, as you can tell, the garden is really coming to life, especially the roses. And I hope over the next few days we'll start to get a few dry spells because I'm ready to get a few more plants in the garden because it is that time of year to get some planting done. And remember, if you liked this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow me, the Preppy Gardener. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.